Hi, and welcome back to Let's Bake and Cook Stuff. Today we're going to be making a multi-cooker creamy broccoli soup. There's actually no creaminess in the broccoli soup, but it's vegan, so there's no cream in it. And it's quite delicious. We're making it in the multi-cooker. I don't know if you've tried one of these yet. They're pretty trendy right now. I'm going to turn it on saute, and then I'm going to add my oil. And when the oil gets hot, I'm going to add my onions. But right now we're just going to let that oil warm up. I'm chopping. That's letting me know that it's on, and it's saying you said you wanted to saute, so I'm going to saute. I'm chopping these pretty roughly. It doesn't really kind of matter how they're chopped because they're going to go inside. They're going to be blended in a blender anyway after they're cooked. So we're going to be good as far as that goes. So first, we're letting that get hot. We want to let that go for a few seconds, and then we'll start adding our ingredients. I wanted to let you know, a friend of mine actually gave me one of these multi-cookers several years ago, and I used it mostly just for making soup. And I'm finding out all kinds of cool things you can do with them now. You can make like cheesecake in them, you can bake a cake in them. I love the idea of cooking something that you don't have to turn the oven on for. I mean, this time of year, I live in Southern California, it's hot. And every time I'm getting ready to do a new video, my husband goes, "Are you gonna turn the oven on?" so I'm trying to make stuff where I don't have to turn the oven on. And I don't think I mentioned it yet before, but I've ordered one of those cooktop, those portable cooktops, so that I can cook here because I can't cook back there because the lighting's just not good enough. So everything I do, I have to do here. So anyway, right now we're gonna add our onion. Oh, wait. Okay, all right. Yeah, see, I haven't used this very often. I've literally used this, I don't know, like 4 or 5 times. So I kind of don't really pretend like I know that much about them. But I have made the soup before. It was delicious. It's a funny story because it's green soup. And I made it, and I actually made the video for it, but the video got erased. So I'm redoing it. But meanwhile, I had made it, and my 4-year-old granddaughter Zoe, I gave her some. She was here, she had it for lunch, and then she actually took some home and had it for dinner that night as well. So, okay, here's 4 cloves of garlic and 1 jalapeno pepper that's just chopped. It's just the whole jalapeno. It's got the seeds and everything. If you don't want it that hot, make sure you seed it, okay? We want things hotter. And it seems like the jalapeno peppers I've been buying lately, they're not very hot. And so if I leave the seeds in, I tend to get that heat that I'm searching for. So, so we're gonna let this cook. We want these to get softened. And then we'll add everything else. But I think I'm gonna let you go for now, and then when I start putting the other stuff in. But right now all we've got in there is the oil, the onions, the jalapeno peppers, and the garlic, right? And we're gonna let that go for about 5 minutes. And once that's all nice and softened, then we're gonna start adding up other ingredients. Okay, and I'll see you back here then. Okay, hi, we're back. And the onions and the garlic and the jalapenos have softened. We got a nice little crust on there on the bottom. We're gonna add the white wine. So 1/2 cup of white wine going in. It's gonna sizzle. Excuse the noise. Okay, and now we're gonna just stir that around a little bit, get whatever's going on in there. We're gonna add, it's 8 cups of broccoli florets. This is about 1 pound of broccoli. It might be a little over 1 pound. It was two of the heads, 2 of the bunches. So I'm putting that in there. This is 1 can of cannellini beans, just a regular can, like 15 ounces or so. 1 cup of basil leaves. 1 cup of basil leaves, whole. Now you could chop them if you want, but again, it's not gonna matter because this is all gonna go in the blender when you're done. And 2.5 cups of vegetable broth. Be aware when you're using your multi-cooker, there is a maximum level in here. Make sure you don't go past that maximum level. Your stuff will spout out if you do that. Now I've got a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon of dried thyme leaves. Okay, that's going in. Now we're going to press cancel. We're going to turn it off. There's no off button. And then we're going to cook it on pressure cook. We're going to obviously put the lid on it. And you want this to be in the sealed. You see how it's got the seal here. And then this is down. When this is up, that means it's reached pressure, this red button. And then, so that means that's when you're not going to be able to open it or do anything to it. And then once we're done cooking it, that will go back down, and then you know that you're safe to open the lid. Okay. So, see there? It tells you. So now we're going to do pressure cook for 5 minutes. We're going, and you don't have to do anything. You just tell it pressure cook, and it says, when it dings, it's saying, okay, you said to pressure cook, so I'm going to pressure cook. So it's going to pressure cook for 5 minutes, and we're going to allow the steam to, the pressure to release for about another 5 or 10 minutes, and then naturally, and then we're going to turn this to unseal, and then let the rest of it do that. But I will do that when we come back. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. I'm new. This is my 7th video, as you can see right there. So I'm new. I'd appreciate any comments, any feedback you have. I wouldn't mind hearing. Well, I might. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will be back in a couple minutes. Just a little bit about the multi-cooker. If you're using it, as I mentioned, you want to make sure you don't fill it past that fill line. That will cause issues for you. It will start spouting out the steamer, and it won't be good. Also, it builds up pressure, obviously, and I think it's a safety thing on it, where if this red button is up, it's in full pressure, and I don't think you can open it, but don't try. But I don't think you can open it with that like that. And then also, it's kind of interesting when you look at recipes for the multi-cooker. It says, I watched a video once on how to cook rice in the multi-cooker, and it said cook rice for like 2 minutes or 4 minutes or something. I was like, wow, that really cuts down on the amount of time. Well, it has to build up. It's 4 minutes from the time it builds up pressure, and it could take 10 minutes to build that pressure up. So it does still save you time. And if you make a lot of rice, then it's probably a good way to do it. But for me, I like the new way of cooking rice, and maybe I'll do a tutorial on that sometime, where you cook it like pasta instead of just cooking the exact amount of putting the exact amount of rice in. Exact amount of rice and exact amount of water, or whatever liquid you're using. You use extra water, just like you do pasta, and you boil it like pasta instead of that. And I actually really like, that's my preferred way now. I used to cook it in the microwave. I used to sell Tupperware, and they have these Tupperware containers that cook rice perfectly every time. So I was doing it like that, but I kind of like this way a little bit better. It does take longer. I will say the brown rice takes about 45-50 minutes if you cook it on the stove. If you cook it in the microwave, it takes 35 minutes, I think. So anyway, it's all what you're into. I was just filling you in on a couple of things regarding the multi-cooker, because it's been out there for a minute, but it's also kind of new. And it's still new for me. I have only used it, again, I've used it maybe 5 or 6 times, so I'm going to start using it a little bit more. Okay, thanks for watching. And it's built up steam. Took maybe 5 minutes. Then it actually built up pressure, and it pressure cooked for 5 minutes, and then it released steam for 5 minutes, and then we let the rest of the steam out. And pour it into this blender. Now, if you have one of those immersion blenders, you can use that for this. I had one of those before. I didn't care for it. We moved to this house 6 years ago, and it's one of the things that I didn't feel like taking with me when we came. So, but if you have one and you're more comfortable with that, then go right ahead. I just wasn't a fan of it. It just didn't seem to work that good. It probably was just I didn't have a good one, that's all. So I'm going to put this on the blender, and whenever you're blending hot things in the blender, you want to always make sure you leave some kind of room for the steam to escape. Otherwise, when you open it, it'll explode, and you don't want that to happen now, do you? Okay, so I'm putting this on here. You should be able to see this. Okay, now you can see. Now I'm going to turn on the power. I'm going to turn this on medium. And I'm going to go until the soup is smooth. See that because I wanted you to see in real time. That literally took about 20 seconds, I think, to make this into. And the thing is about this soup is that it's like a creamy broccoli soup, but there's no cream in it. The beans make it creamy, and it tastes like a creamy broccoli soup, and it's just delicious. Now, I have. Again, it was kid tested. My granddaughter Zoe loved it. And I'm going to put a little bit of nutritional yeast. This is like a deactivated yeast. This is not the kind of yeast that you will make your bread poofy. And then I'm going to put a little bit of red onion on here. And you can put whatever kind of condiments you want. I actually have some bean sprouts I'm probably going to toss on here too, just because I made some other soup last week. And it's, oh man, that looks so good. Look at that. And that is creamy broccoli soup with no cream. It's completely vegan. And it's July, so maybe you want to hold on to the recipe until wintertime. I used to only make soup when it rains, but now I make soup all the time. I mostly make vegetable soup because I have to stick it in the freezer. Sometimes I give it to my neighbors. I used to take it to work. I'm not working anymore, but I retired earlier this year. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just put them down there. I'll take a look at them. And also, if you have any suggestions, anything that you'd like to see me make in the future, or if you just have any comments whatsoever, I'd love to see them. And I would really love it if you'd subscribe and like. And I appreciate you watching. Thanks.